All right. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the Precisely Demo Showcase. My name is Haley Vyas. I'm Product Marketing Manager here at Precisely and your moderator for this session. We have a jam-packed session for you today. We have here an incredible team that is going to take you through a series of demos that will showcase how Precisely solutions in data governance, data quality, and master data management can help you trust your data and take control of it confidently. So before we get into it, there are a few housekeeping notes that we should go through. One, we are coming to you live. So any issues with your audio or video even, just feel free to hit the refresh button on the page, or you can also drop in a note in the Q&A box and someone will get back to you. Questions are welcome throughout the session. As I mentioned, we have a series of demos coming, so we will try to answer your questions after each demo. So put in the questions as and when you get them so we can get to it. If we do not get to your question with the time being short, we will follow up via email, so keep an eye out for that. Since this session is being recorded, you will also get the recording and slides for it in your inbox. And lastly, we have a resource center with a bunch of assets linked down for you. If you want to learn more about everything that you see today, please check it out. We believe it will be very helpful with everything that you're going to see today. And without further delay, let me introduce you to the team. So we have JD Donnelly from Professional Services. JD, over the past decade, has specialized in helping businesses get real value from their data by building governance programs, improving processes, and also guiding their digital transformation. So welcome, JD. Then we have Christopher Reed from Sales Engineering. Chris has over 27 years of IT experience, and his sales engineering team, they cover our data governance, data quality, and data observability solutions. And last but not the least, we have Kurt, another seasoned sales engineer. Kurt brings over 20 years of experience bridging the gap between IT and businesses. He has a background that goes across academia and industry giants. So without further delay, again, I am going to bring in JD, who is going to kick this off for us. So JD, take it away.
At Precisely, we believe that better data means better decisions, a mantra that drives everything we do. Today, 93 out of the Fortune 100 companies and over 12,000 customers trust Precisely to help them achieve their data integrity. What does data integrity mean? Simply put, data must be trustworthy. This is achieved through accuracy, ensuring it is understood, and using it within the right context. Precisely is more than a software company. What sets us apart is that we not only deliver our own solutions, but we also have an award-winning in-house strategy consulting team. Our customers choose us because of our unique ability to understand their pains and to solve them with tailored solutions. 67% of business leaders don't completely trust their data. And this statistic might seem surprising at first, but at the same time, I believe we all know that it makes sense. We live in a world where we see organizations operating successfully, yet we also know that decisions are often made only after someone double checks the data, does their deep dives into the data, and ensures that it's accurate. The dream for all of us is living in a world where the data used by leadership and ourselves to make decisions is instantly known to be of high integrity and trustworthiness, such as having a certified label. Luckily, you'll see today that many of our customers' dreams is now a reality. Organizations today are undergoing a number of transformative initiatives, often aimed at doing more with less. These use cases rely upon not just the data, but the other human elements of people and processes that support them. Achieving trust in data means having a clear definition of what good looks like and the mechanisms to apply that standard consistently. In today's demo, we will walk through the key steps in developing an AI model. Specifically, our scenario focuses on building an AI model to improve the effectiveness of personalized advertisements. Throughout the demos, we'll see several key personas in action. The business owner, who is ultimately the data owner and accountable for ensuring its trustworthiness, the data steward, who is responsible for maintaining the integrity of the data, the analyst, so the person who is using the data to develop the AI model in today's demos, and the administrator, the expert configuring the platform, platform settings and access.
Awesome. Thanks, JD, for opening this up for us. So, as we get into the first segment of what we are about to see, in this example, as JD mentioned, we're about to see an AI model, but our AI model is only as good as the data that it learns from, right? When the data is scattered across multiple systems with no clear ownership or governance, how can we really trust it to drive better ad personalization? Now, ensuring that our data is well managed, is compliant, isn't just about meeting the regulations out there, is it? It's more about making sure that the AI delivers real and reliable results. That's where Precisely comes in. Precisely helps solve this with business first data governance and stewardship. To succeed, every organization needs a clear framework for managing their data. Who owns it? How is it defined? How is it used? Now, with governance, data can become misaligned across teams. Policies can be inconsistently applied, and compliance risks can even grow. This makes it harder to ensure that our AI models are working with reliable and well structured data that aligns with our business goals. Precisely makes governance practical and also business friendly. Our solutions help standardize data definitions, assign ownership, and track our lineage so that our AI models they rely on clearly governed and well managed data. The result, in this example, greater confidence in AI-driven insights, stronger compliance, and more effective ad personalization strategies. I am now going to call on Chris, who is going to show you how Precisely makes this possible. Chris, all yours.
Thanks, Haley. All right, so in our first demonstration that we're going to be going through today for business first data governance and stewardship, we're going to highlight a few of these personas that JD had talked about. We're going to look at the business owner and how they're going to look and manage their data and what benefits they get out of governance of their data. We're going to look at stewardship of how data, when you put the information in, how it goes through our stewardship process, through our workflows, and ensure that it's certified. And then that AI analyst, we're going to see how they can search for the information that they're looking for to ensure that they could build the best model that they have possible and know how to use the data by looking at some of the various policies and things that go along with that too in usage. And then the data governance administrator, where we're going to talk a little bit about the flexible meta model that we have. Okay. So in this demo, we're going to start off with that data governance administrator by showing the flexible meta model that we have, how we could configure the system right through the UI, no coding involved. Next, that AI analyst is going to be able to use our intuitive search to search for the information that they are looking for to understand and get context around that data. In the third part, we're going to look at some of those customizable asset details that we have that you can see, so we can configure those assets to make sure they're providing the best value to your user base. And then fourth, we're going to look at that workflow. So we're going to see that data stewardship where we're going to walk you through that workflow. So let's go ahead and get ready for the demo.
Starting off in the suite, one of the first things we need to do is we need to configure our assets that we want to be able to govern. This is easy to do within the Data Integrity Suite. I come down over to our configuration menu, click on that, go over to my tab on governance, and over there I will see the ability to configure the various different asset types that we have for our meta model. I can configure technical assets, business assets, data models, policies, relationships, and so forth. All these assets can be configured right through the UI with no coding involved. This will enable you to put the correct assets that you need for your organization within the tool. Now, once I have that set up in our solution, and I have all those various different assets defined and configured, I can then find that information easily going into our governance tab. For our demo scenario, let's say I am a user who's looking for information on a new AI model that I want to create around customer marketing materials, and that I want to look for and see how to better streamline that. So what I'm going to do, I'm not sure what the AI model will be, but I know in the business terms I've defined what a customer is, and I should be able to see all the assets that are related to customer information. So I see customer over here, and when I click on and highlight the first one, I can see, okay, this has customer data in our side panel here. This is the one I've been searching for. So let's go ahead and click on that asset to view more information about it. When I come to the screen, I get a lot of good information here. First, I'm going to get some keywords and user rating. This is crowdsourced through the application, so your users could add and contribute to your governance by adding keywords to make things easily more searchable. They could also rate the various different assets, so I know that, okay, this one here has a 5-star rating, so I know this information is good to use. I also get a description of what a customer is and some other valuable information, such as this has been certified, giving me confidence that it's gone through our governance group and gone through the certification process. And I also see some other critical information, such as this information about our customers might be confidential, because it might contain PII in there or some PHI as well. As I scroll down, first thing I notice is the AI use case, something that I'm interested in. So I could click on that particular AI use case, and the right-hand panel will populate, and I could see some more information about that particular AI use case that's being used with customer. This looks very interesting to me. I'm going to come back to that. And right now I'm going to scroll through and look at some other valuable information that's going to give me some context around our customers. I also could see here we have data products listed, some database tables that I could see here, the various different data sets. And I also could see some other things related to organizational direction, such as maybe some goals and KPIs, some objectives that we have around customers, and some key metrics that we're gathering around customers as well. I'm going to scroll back up here, and let's go back to that AI use case. I'm going to go ahead, and I want to get a more detailed view of this, so I'm going to open it up in a new tab here. And when I open that up in the new tab, I get some more details about that particular AI model that I have that we've governed over here. And you could see here some information about it, a description, what our target audience is, in what phase is this project. I could see, okay, this is still in development. Maybe that's why I didn't know about this particular AI project yet. So I see it's still in development. And then when I look at my business use case, I could see we're looking at our customer data, and we're going to identify some patterns in purchase behavior and some engagement metrics that I'm also interested in. So I see that, and I could see the business value that we have. So this all looks very interesting to me and looks like something I want to work with. Now, another piece of information that I could gather is going to be in our relationships over here. I have this pre-filtered, which is going to show me some other business terms that are related to the use case, and I could see I have my customer, which is the one we've been working at. And also I could see we also have another one called customer email, because this is related to the email addresses when people are logging in and looking at that information, and that's what we're gathering from the AI. I might also want to have a business term defined on the revenue that we have, let's say, for the customer. I don't see that related here, and it wasn't in my business terms before, so I may want to add a new business term into governance. So I'm going to close this for a second, and let's go back to our business terms. Now, if I wanted to add a new asset in there called customer revenue, let's say, I could come over here and where it says create an asset and click on that create asset button. And that's going to bring me up my form, which I could then go ahead and enter in the information I have about customer revenue, putting in the name, defining it, putting in any statuses and various different things that go with that. Now, when I do enter that information in and create that asset, another key part of governance is being able to steward that information and certify it, and we do that through our workflow. So I'm going to go ahead, jump into workflow here, and go to my workflow that I have created for a new business term that's been added. Let's click on that and edit that. So if I were to go in and I added that new business term on customer revenue, let's say, and put that information in, before that gets entered and certified, it's going to go through this workflow process. And I've created a workflow process here where, that gets entered, we send an email back to the person telling you, yeah, thank you, we got your request for the new term. We're going to go through the approval process, and then I have some forms created here for the business owner approval, and then also I have a form then to go through the steward group and fill in that particular form, and then we have some emails that go back that'll tell you whether it was accepted or rejected. So now, when that term is in there and it's gone through the workflow, I could trust that information and have confidence in it, because when I'm done with the workflow, I'll be able to get that certified tag that tells me this has been properly governed, it's gone through our workflow, and now I know I can trust that piece of information.
All right, so we were able to go through that demonstration. You saw it right now. And a couple of things we want to highlight that we covered in some of those value propositions. One, you first seen the flexible configuration where we will able to simplify stewardship and configure the assets in the meta model to reflect your business. The second, we were able to show you our intuitive search where you're easily able to increase adoption by being able to find the various different assets that you're looking at, looking for within the in the solution. The third thing, we were able to help you expand your data literacy and compliance by drilling down into those details and getting seeing how those are customizable to fit your organization. And be able to look at those details. And then last, you just saw we walked through the workflow and show you how we can provide some data stewardship. Don't forget, if you have any questions about that particular demonstration that I just gave, you can enter those questions in the Q&A as well.
Thanks, Chris. That was awesome. As a matter of fact, I did see a few questions come in. I'm just going to go top down with the first one. So it says, you mentioned very flexible configuration. What is the skill set that we need to manage it?
Yeah, that's a great question. You saw with our configuration, the way our model is set up, all that configuration is done through the UI. You don't have to have any coding type expertise. You just have to have an understanding of your organization and what types of information you want to make available to your user base. It's all through the UI drag drop, entering things through forms. So no coding involved.
That's right. And I think we can do one more. So it says, for governance scores, what are some examples that you have seen that document the governance value?
Sure. When you're looking at scoring the various different assets, the scores help you build trust within your user base. So you use those scores to ensure that the data is being properly governed, that the data is good, it has good quality, and I could see that score, and then I'm able to trust it because I know that from my scoring that I have the right information in there and the data is good. So those scores are important to provide trust to your user base.
Right on. Okay. Thanks, Chris. So let us now move on to the second segment of this. Now, in our scenario today, we are investing in AI to create smarter, more effective ads, right? But do we know what data is fueling our model? If our data is incomplete, outdated, or even inconsistent, our AI could be making the wrong recommendations, which will then lead to wasted ad spend and then poor engagement. Precisely help solve this with data discovery and assessment. AI models, as we all know, rely on vast amounts of customer and ad performance data. But if we don't know what data we have or whether it's reliable, we could be making biased, our AI could be making biased, inaccurate, or even misleading predictions. Now, precisely as discovery and assessment capabilities, they help organizations gain full visibility into their data, determining its quality, and making sure that it's fit for the AI. By scanning, profiling, and categorizing data, teams can now quickly identify gaps, inconsistencies, and the errors, which will then allow them to train AI models with confidence. The result in this example is that we get more precise customer targeting, higher ad engagement, and then better ROI. Now, Chris will explore how precisely enables organizations to assess and then trust their data. Chris, take it away.
Thanks again, Haley. Okay, so for this portion of the demo, we're looking at our data discovery and assessment. And our two key personas and benefactors here are going to be the AI analyst, who's going to be able to search our catalog and find the data that they're looking for and understand that data and build some trust by looking at things such as data quality. And then we're going to also hit on the IT administrator, who's responsible probably for that particular data set, who has the ability to and the permissions to connect to that data set and catalog it. So those are the two personas we're going to talk about. In the demonstration, the previous one, you saw the more from that business top-down approach. And now in this one, we're going to be connecting that layer. We're connecting down now to that physical layer of where the data resides. And again, when we catalog that information, we're going to highlight our intuitive search to be able to search the data catalog and find the information you're looking for. The second thing I want to look at is going to be the lineage. I want to understand where does this data come from? What's the path that the data took to get to the particular table I may be looking at? So I want to look at the lineage to get an understanding of that. Third thing we're going to look at is our scoring. So the scoring, we have some default data quality checks that we put into place that we're going to show some of those data quality scores, so I could trust the data and understand from a profiling perspective of what that data looks like that I'm looking at. And then fourth, we're going to show you how you could also, in addition to the default rules that we have, build your own customizable data quality rules that you could apply right into the catalog across multiple different data sets to ensure that you have quality of that data. So, okay, all right, let's go ahead and we're going to switch over and bring up the demo.
Okay, for this demo, we're going to go in and we're going to take a look at the catalog to find various different data sets that I need for my analytics. So let's go in and click on catalog. The first thing that you're going to notice here in the data integrity suite are the data sources that I have cataloged for this particular instance. You could see in the instance that I have for this demo, I have a wide variety of different data sources that have been cataloged. Postgres, Microsoft SQL, Snowflake, Google BigQuery, and so forth. So for this demonstration, what we wanted to see is if I was an analyst, I wanted to find the customer data set that I need to be able to build my analytics with. So I'm going to go over here to my next tab, which is my data sets, and I'm going to use our search and filtering capability to be able to drill into more details within the system. So you can see up here, I'm looking for customer. I have that typed in, but I also could filter this down more narrow and say, okay, I want to look at Snowflake because I know maybe it's in Snowflake. That's what I've been told. And I could see the data sources here, and I could say, okay, I want to go to Snowflake primary. That's the main system. And I see here there are 3 different data sets that are part of that particular instance of Snowflake. And the one I'm looking for is our customer master list. This is the one that I want, and I see that right away in the middle here after I've gone through my extensive search. So I click on the customer master, and that's going to bring me over to that particular asset. Now, when I'm looking at this asset, one of the keys is I want to see where does this data come from? How is this asset being sourced? And the first tab over here next to details is going to be lineage. So I'm going to click on lineage. And when I bring up lineage, I could see the path that this data takes to populate my customer master. We start off over on the left-hand side there. There's 2 different tables that we have over in Google BigQuery. I could see the fields if I want by clicking on that and extending it out. I can see these 2 data sets then are going to be combined and brought into Snowflake to create a table called party, which I have a number of fields over there in party. And then that data is being, for the customer master, that's where our data is going to be sourced from. I can see that I'm on customer master. That's noted by this little home button at the top here. And I could click and expand and look at the fields that I have right there next to it. Now, another important thing that you see here is I have an aggregated data quality score up at the top. You've probably seen that also when I was in the data sources. You see that aggregated data quality score. And then on the right next to each of the fields I have a data quality score for that particular field. I could highlight any one of these fields and I could get some more information on that right-hand panel about that field. So looking at the lineage, now I get an understanding where the data comes from, how it got there, and what the quality of that data is. The next thing, I may want to look at a sample of that data to get a better understanding of what that data looks like. So we have the ability where we can generate a sample, and you can have it in the solution. Now that's optional, it's up to you. I always find it helpful if I put in the sample. This gives me an idea of what that data looks like, so I know what type of data I'm dealing with. And I could see that all right here. Now the next tab, we also have run a profile on that data, so I'm getting a better picture of what that the quality of that data looks like. I could see the profile, some basic statistics over here on that on the profile. The other tabs I want to get into a little more. You could see all the relationships in all the types of relationships that you have there and things that are connected to that data source. You could filter and look through that here as well. But I also want to look at the next 2 tabs, the rules and the scoring for this particular data set. I feel these are important because this is going to give me a better picture of the quality of that data. So when I click on scoring over here, I'm going to notice a couple different things. First, when I look at the scores, I can see this is being looked at for completeness and for validity, and I get an aggregated score for each, and then the total down here for that particular data set. And then when I look on the right-hand side, as you can see, I can look at all the individual fields and what the data quality scores are for those as well. And if I click on validity, now you get an idea of the validity. In this case here, validity, we're looking at the semantic for these fields, the semantic value, and seeing if that's a valid value for that particular field based on that. I also have where I could, and you see that here with the semantic, but I also have where I could build in my own business rule to do a validation if I wanted as well. And in this particular one, the state province rule validation, I'm saying the state should be populated if the country is US. So I could see I have that there. So if I click on that and I come over to the scoring here, I can see this rule is running across several different tables over here. I could click in, if I wanted to drill in and see the failed records, I could click on the failed records, drill in and see which records failed that particular rule. I could view the rule definition over here on the sideline as well. Now, when I come back and take a look at the rules, I can see, okay, these are all the lists of the various different rules that I have in my catalog. And you're going to see over here, there's a few that say default. These default rules will run against all the different data sources that we're cataloging. And by default, we'll check for things such as blank and nulls within the data sets. And then the validity check, we'll look at using our AI, we'll determine the semantic and tag that information, for things such as zip codes, states, addresses, phone numbers, all those types of things that we could identify semantically. We'll then look at that value that's in the field versus a regex pattern to look at that validity type. Now, you'll see a bunch of others that don't have the default tag next to them. These are custom-built rules that we've added into the system that you could add by creating a rule. So let's go into this state province rule validation. I'm going to go ahead and edit and show you how this was created over here. Now, when we look at it, you can see we gave it the name over here. Here's our description. We could select the dimension of the various different types of rules that you could build. If you click on the little information button next to you, it'll tell you what we mean by that particular dimension. You'll see the scoring bands that we have here, what's poor, what's average, what's good. And you could also select if you want to show failed records that have happened. In this case, I could, when I'm targeting the assets I want to run against, I could look at a particular data set, or I could just look at fields across multiple different data sets. In this particular one, I'm looking at fields, the state field, across 3 different data sets or tables that I have in Snowflake here. They're listed over here, so I'm reusing this rule across multiple data sets. So I have that available here. And you have a basic rule builder, which kind of guides you through building the rules. And then we also have a more advanced feature, which I've used in this particular instance, where you could see the expression I created that state is not null and the country is US. So I want to know if it's US, then we should have that state field populated. You could see the various different operators that I have down here that I could build out these expressions with. I have the list of the fields in a particular data set, the reference data set that I'm looking at. And then I also have a list of the various different functions that I could look at. There's a whole list of these. We have close to 100 of them, of different things that you could create here. Any of them, they'll have a little question mark next to it that kind of gives you, here's the information about that that particular data set, or this particular function, I should say, that you could run against the data set. And here, this tells you, what that particular function is, its syntax, and gives you an example as well. So we have all that available to you. So that's what's going to run and score the data.
All right, so switching back over, we let's recap what I just showed you in that demonstration on data discovery and assessment. When I started off the demo, I walked you through the intuitive search. You got to see where you could find the data to solve those challenges you may have had. We also looked at that lineage, so I was able to see where that data came from. So I get a better understanding of the flow of the data and how it moved through the organization. Third, you saw us going through the scoring where we've assessed the data quality to determine its trustworthiness. When I see those scores, now I understand the data, and I could be sure I can trust it. And then last, going through those rules, we allow you to directly apply right to the data catalog, various different business rules, custom rules that fit your organization, so that you can ensure that the data that you're looking at is consistent and accurate and conforms to your data standards that you have for your organization. So also at this time, you could go ahead, just another quick reminder, drop your questions in the chat, and we'll be ready to answer anything you may have about the demonstration. If we can't get to it, we'll surely get back to you as well.
Thanks for the reminder, Chris. Great demo. We did get a couple of questions in. Okay, let's do this one. Are the data quality scores configurable?
Yes, we do have the ability to configure the data quality scores that you had. You saw the default ones. We also have where you could build out those customized rules that they're going to fit and customize that scoring that you have for your organization to ensure that the data meets the quality standards that your organization has put in place.
Right. Okay, I think we can fit another one. Are your data governance and data catalog integrated?
Yes. So one of the things I mentioned a little earlier before I kicked off that demonstration is we showed in the first demo that governance, that what we call the logical layer. And then in this one now we're looking at the physical layer. So we brought in the data catalog the actual physical data using relationships. We could create those relationships between that logical layer and the physical layer, tying those together. So you have that integrated view and understanding of, okay, here's the physical data, here is the logical business assets that relate to it, or I could take that top-down approach where I'm searching for a business asset and then see what is the physical data behind it.
Makes sense. Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Moving on ahead. So now, if our AI model is making the wrong decisions, we know that the problem isn't the AI, right? It's our data. Now, imagine investing in an AI-driven marketing strategy only to realize that our data is full of inconsistencies or duplicates and is missing details. Without the high-quality data that our AI needs, the model might target wrong customers, misinterpret trends, or even fail to optimize ad personalization effectively, which will then give us poor engagement and then lost revenue opportunities. This is what Precisely helps solve this with data quality and remediation. Precisely's data quality and remediation solutions ensure that AI models are trained on the clean, consistent, and trusted data that it needs. Our tools can validate, cleanse, enrich, and then standardize data, removing errors and filling in all the missing details. This means that we get more accurate customer insights, better results, and a stronger return on our AI investments. In our example today, this translates for us to stronger AI insights, higher performing ad campaigns, and then lastly, a greater return on our marketing investments. Chris, again, will now show you how Precisely helps organizations continuously improve data quality and drive better business outcomes. Chris, once more, take it over.
All right. Thanks. So we're going to go through this in this particular demo that we're going to show. We're going to talk a little bit about data quality and remediation. Some of those personas we'll be looking at the business owner who owns the data, how they can benefit from good quality cleansed data. And then we're going to look at the stewardship of, now if we have issues with the data, how do we steward that through and cleanse that data and ensure its accuracy. And then again, our main benefactor here is going to be our AI analyst, who now has a good understanding of the data and can trust it that when they build out their AI model, that the data is good, it's been cleansed. So, all right. So for the demonstration, a couple of points I want you to look out for when I'm going through this. First, we're going to talk about standardization. So you're going to get to see how we can go in and standardize data by using our categorization and understanding, get a greater understanding of the data, and then standardizing it. We're also going to use our AI within the tool for our AI-driven suggestion. So we're going to show you how maybe you're not sure what data quality rules to put in place. Our AI is there to suggest some rules to put in place based on the data. We'll talk a little bit about address verification and validation. A core in this particular use case of wanting to do AI and analytics around customer data. So we want to make sure that we have good deliverable addresses. So we'll talk about that. The rule evaluation, going back, tying it back to the previous demo where we created that custom rule that we embedded in the catalog. I could take that rule that's in the catalog and bring that into our data quality pipeline. So we'll show you how you can do that and have that part of your pipeline. And then last, after the data has been cleansed and we have good data, we want to make sure that the data remains trustworthy. So we're going to show you how you could set up an observer to be able to look at some data observability and make sure that you get out in front of any kind of data issues that you may have. So, all right, let's get into it.
So in the last demo, you saw how we cataloged our data and then scored that data using some built-in data quality rules that we've configured to look at the quality of that data to gain some trust in it. You saw that we had some data quality issues. So now I want to go ahead and I want to use our data quality pipelines to go ahead and cleanse that data and ensure that it has quality. And then we're going to take a look at some observability where I'm able to observe that data to make sure that that quality remains good and that we don't have any issues and learn about those ahead of time. So let's go in and click on quality over here. Now, if I wanted to create a new quality pipeline, I could just come over here and click on this button. I already have a pipeline created that I'm going to show for this demo. So let's jump into that. Now, what you see here, I've added my input data source that I'm working with. This is the customer data that we've been talking about for the use case, because I want to see that I have good customer data for my analytics. So let's go ahead and cleanse it. I brought that in. On the bottom here, you're going to see a sample set of that data. And one of the things I want you to look at is we have these colored columns here. What those are is the AI that we have in our solution has gone ahead and categorized the data based on the metadata that we've discovered when we've cataloged this data. I can see that the first and last name has been categorized as person. We have our address information as our location data, contact information, our phone, email address, and so forth. So once we've done that, another thing I wanted to point out, if I were to highlight a particular column over here and then come over to the right-hand side, you see the second button here is going to be our profiling. I could click on that and I'm going to see a profile of that particular column for this data set, so I get an understanding of what type of data is in there, and that gives me a better idea of what I need to build for my data quality rules. I also have another piece over here that's going to help me in building out my data quality pipeline, and that's going to be our suggestions. The suggestions, again, based on the AI, makes these suggestions and tells you, okay, based on what we've seen here, this is what we suggest you do with this particular data set. And you can see, because I've highlighted that first name column, that's the suggestion for first name is to standardize that field. So I could standardize that field and understand the various nicknames and different things to make sure we have the right data there. It also gave me suggestions for the overall data set, which I went ahead and I applied as well. So let's take a look at those. The second over here is, you see this grouping. I have the ability to group the different rules together and kind of execute those as a group. So it's a nice way of putting things together and getting an understanding of what they're doing. And in this particular case, I'm standardizing the person and contact information. We talked about the name standardizations, but I'm also parsing the email addresses and verifying that it's a valid email address that we have. And then I'm doing the same thing with the phone numbers that I have. I'm going to parse those, and I'm going to tell you whether that is a fixed or landline and validate that it's a real phone number or not. You can see, like, this one here came in as false. It's not a real phone number. The next thing that we're looking at, I've standardized the country because I want to run that rule that I had created in the catalog that you've seen before, where I said if the country is U.S., then the state should be populated and should not be null. So I want to run that rule, and I want to find out, okay, which ones are the ones that were false. And when I look at the preview over here, I could see the various ones. Okay, these are the ones that it's U.S. as the country, but I'm missing a state there, so I need to populate that. So I see those are the 9 that we had there before that are false. So the next thing, to cleanse that and fix that, I'm going to use our address verification. And with the address verification, I'm able to, let's look at the preview, is to take those addresses, fill those in, all the, the ones with the missing states and everything we have here. Those are all we get that all taken care of if those are legitimate addresses. And we'll tell you, is this an address that we can verify and ship to? You'll get a confidence rating here. We also added the Precisely ID. The Precisely ID is used to connect to our enrich data sets. So if you want to get more information about that particular location, we offer data sets, things like point of interest information, risk information, and so forth, that can help you get a better understanding of that location that you're working with. I also have the ability to geocode those addresses and add latitude and longitude information to that particular address, so I get more information about that location. In addition to that, you saw the suggestions. We went through those. but I also have the ability to manually add different steps. And we have a wide variety of different rules that you could create here within your pipeline to cleanse your data. You know, they could be things like evaluating different rules, executing the data set that, you know, from that catalog rule set that we had, filtering data. I could also do some string stuff like getting substrings, replacing information, trimming any blanks and white space that you may have in a field. We talked about our addressing and parsing information there in standardization. Here is the enrich. In addition to the enriched data sets that Precisely has with the point of interest and risk information, you also could do a table lookup internally to another table, maybe in a database that you may have that you can use that to enrich. Another key feature of our data quality pipelines is our match and merge, which we utilize AI to do that as well, where we can dedupe a data set. So if I had duplicate customers in here and duplicate information, I could go ahead, I can match that and merge that data and get rid of the duplicates as well. So we have a whole different thing on matching and merging. That's a great topic that we could do in another demo as well. When you close this out here, I also have where I output the information. So I've run these rules and now I want to put an output. I could either upload and cleanse the data in the table that I started with, or I could output to a new table. Maybe I want to call it customer cleanse table or something like that. I have that ability here with the output. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to configure my run configuration, schedule it to run these rules and have it run and cleanse that data. Now, you saw the quality, and let's say I have it cleansed and now I have good data. My business owners can have confidence in that data. I want to ensure that they could stay confident in that data. So I'm going to come over here to the observability that we have. And you can see here, I'm observing various different things such as volume, data drift, schema drift, freshness, and I have a variety of alerts there. If I wanted to click on data drift and let's say look at one of the alerts that I have, I'm going to go to the beginning here, look at one of these early alerts, and I could see that here this was impacted, the cardinality. I could see on the graph it changed there. Now I know I have that alert. I could get out in front of that and be able to observe, look at the data and fix something before it becomes an issue downstream. Now to set up an observer and what types of observers we have, let's come over here. And if I wanted to create an observer, I hit create over here, and this is where I can go ahead, I can find that customer data set that I've been working with. It's the one from primary here. I could select all the fields that I want. I could filter out certain things in that data set. I click next, and this is where I configure my observer rules. Most of these are all driven by AI. So just an example over here for the data drift. We can look at it and configure, how tight we want this in terms of our alerts. You could see all the various different statistics we alert on: min, max, standard deviation, means, distribution of values, and so forth. Then once I hit next, we go ahead, we finalize that, set up our schedule, and now we're observing our data. And we can ensure that we have good quality data now, because we'll get those alerts and be able to stay out ahead of that. And our business owners are going to have that confidence in the data.
All right, so let's go ahead and now that we've seen the demo, let's wrap up what we just saw over there for data quality and remediation. The first step, I was able to walk you through and show you how we standardized the data. We were able to see the categorizations and then see the person information and standardize that information with first name, the email addresses, phone numbers, and things of that nature. I also showed where you can use the AI-driven suggestions to take those recommendations and streamline that process. Maybe even if you're not sure what roles you should be putting in place for that, the AI will give you a good idea of what you can put in there. Next, we walked you through the address verification. We talked a little bit about how we validate the addresses to confirm, its deliverability, its accuracy, which tied into number 4, which was the rule evaluation, where we brought in that rule from the previous demo in the data catalog, embedded it into our quality pipeline. We saw we had those 9 records that were missing a state that didn't pass our rule evaluation. Using that address verification, we were able to validate those addresses and fill in that information, get that state information, and validate that it's a valid address. And then also we talked a little bit of how we output that data then as a cleansed data set. And then last, we looked at data observability to observe that data and get out in front and be proactive about any data quality issues that might come up by seeing any abnormalities in things like freshness, data drift, schema drift, and so forth. So again, a quick reminder, if you want, go ahead and enter those questions in the Q&A and we'll answer them.
Okay, let's do some Q&A, Chris. So first one that came in was, is it possible to use any rule created in data discovery in the data quality pipeline?
Yeah, that's one of the things that we have. We have the ability where you could take those rules, think of it as like a rule library. So I have a set of rules over that I built into the data catalog. I could take any of those rules and apply them into my data quality cleansing pipelines. So they kind of work hand in hand, where I'm getting the scoring from the data catalog, and I can see those scores, and then I could use our data quality pipeline to cleanse that data by using some of the various different tools I have available, such as the address validation.
That's right. Second one is about address verification. Does Precisely provide the data for the address verification?
Yeah, so Precisely this is one of the things we're a leader in location intelligence and being able to validate addresses and location information, not just addresses, but geolocating that information by adding that latitude and longitude. You also saw we're able to provide even more context around that location by using the Precisely ID, which matches up to our enriched data sets for things like point of interest information, like I said, various different risk data, demographic data. We have a wide variety of data sets that we can use to enrich that location information for you.
Yes, we do. Absolutely. Okay, thanks, Chris. Once again, let's move on to the next. So as we've already seen and mentioned in this session, AI is only as effective as the data that it's built on. And some of the most important, most critical data elements that are used in an AI model are the master data records, like customers, products, locations, etc. Now, if these are scattered across systems, again with inconsistencies and duplicates, how can we trust the AI model to be consistent and accurate, right? Now, without a single accurate source of truth, AI models risk misidentifying customers, they can deliver irrelevant recommendations, and again, we get missed revenue opportunities. So Precisely helps solve this with master data management. Our MDM solution centralizes and enriches critical data, making sure that AI models are complete, accurate, and connected records. This means that we get better AI-driven outputs, improved marketing, and so customer experiences, and then stronger business results. Now, I am going to turn it over to Kurt, who is going to show us how Precisely helps organizations maintain this golden record for our critical master data that's being used in the AI models. So Kurt, take it away.
Thanks, Haley. In the MDM model, we're going to really focus on the data steward, analyst, and administrator roles, as they're the ones who are really working with the data. But the value of this really shows up for the business owner. So what we're going to look at in the demo and get a better understanding of is the centralized system of golden records. So we want to have that trusted data. Now we've got this repository of that trusted data. We're going to look at onboarding that master data. So how is the data being brought in? Because we really have this data hub concept of the data coming in, and then the ability then to enrich that data, link that data in different master data domains to provide some context to that data, and then enriching those records with some enhanced enrichment. So let's go to the demo. Precisely's MDM platform is a multi-domain data hub used to create and maintain consistent, high-quality golden records of master data and other business information that gets shared across a series of systems and sales channels. So here you can see a dashboard of different widgets within the application, and you can see that we've got an inbox for the data steward on specific tasks that have been assigned to me. We've got a quality report on the master data that's sitting within the system. We're looking at that status of the different customer records that are sitting within there. We can see here the customer records are, where those customer master records are, and we can see here the different sources from where those records are coming from. And if we step into the party area that's showing us all the parties that are in our ERP system, because remember we have that party and then the customer and supplier piece to this. So we're going to look at that party, and here we are in the Schneider Electric record that we've got within here, and we're seeing that we've got a party ID, party name, and a variety of other information that's sitting within here. As part of this, we can actually come down and we can take a look at what does that supplier information look like? And we can see that they're a supplier manufacturer. It's giving us a description of what those are. And then if we come into the customer piece to this, we can see our customer master data. So what we're getting is a consistent look and feel across here so that we can the application is providing us this consistent look and feel so that as we go from to different customer records, we can see where that is. And what we're doing is we've been able to bring that normalized, standardized, high quality data within the system as part of that data hub. And you can see here are those different source records as to where that's coming from. And we've created a master record from there. And if we scroll down, you can see that we've got also products that have been purchased by this customer. So you can see that we're now linking this as part of that linked relationship that we'll talk about in a little bit. But you can see where that information is sitting within here. And if we come down into this customer information, you can see that we've got different price lists as well. And if we step into a different tab here, we're looking at the different locations that we've got as part of this. And we can see that we've got a variety of different locations that are sitting within here. And we can see that they've been organized within different hierarchies. And that's one of the core strengths of the application, is this ability to organize the data so that we can see it in a variety of different ways. So that's what we're looking for as we start to prepare this data for AI, is how do we want to view that and how do we want to push that back into that system? And we can come into this contact information and we can see that we've got those email addresses, those phone numbers, different roles, different sites that they're located at. And as we drill down into the banking information, we can see that we've been able to mask that data on their bank records. So that was one of the things that we were looking for as we prep that data. So we want to have that privacy piece to this. And again, what we're looking at in any time we see these tables, these are different linked domains of data. And if I step into here and I step back and I scroll down, you can see that we've got party data, supplier data, customer. So these are all different domains of data that we've linked together here. And that's how it's showing within the application, because it can be configured to your business needs, as well as then providing that data that we're going to need and prepping it for the AI application that we're going to run from there. So one of the additional things that Precisely provides is the ability within the MDM application is its ability to integrate other Precisely products within the MDM application. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through what that looks like within here. So we can see that we're in that Schneider Electric customer record again, and we've got a headquarter location. And what I want to do is I want to drill down into that location. And as we open that up, we can see that there's a zip code issue going on here, and we don't have longitude and latitude as part of this. So what we can do is we can come in, and we've got an integrated external editor that opens up, and it brings us in, and it shows us different recommendations. And this is the recommended address. So we're going to select that recommended address. We're going to update the address, and we can see now that what's been brought in is the zip code and the longitude and latitude. And again, these are this address is going on, being validated through Precisely's geo services, and is bringing back that data into the system. And if I save this, what we see then is that's been brought into alignment. And if we come back into the party area, we can see that we've now gotten that validated as part of that. So again, what we're showing here is the value of Precisely's MDM and its ability to integrate with other services that Precisely offers. And this leads us back to the ability to validate the data that we're then going to push into the AI application, as we were looking for addresses, we were looking for customer information, we were looking for things like DUNS numbers and things, all of that data that we could then, as part of that golden record, push into that AI application that we're looking to optimize those marketing efforts that we had. So we've seen through the demo that we've created this trusted central source of data and processes in that repository of records. We've onboarded that data, and Chris had shown us some of the other services that we have that we could leverage as part of this to bring in that standardized data. But one of the differentiating features is we're also able to author data within the master data system. And then we saw how that master data, those master data domains could be linked, and it helps us gives us a context so that we can make faster decisions, lower cost, and raise sales. And then we looked at the ability for within the MDM system to link to those enhanced enrichment capabilities. And we also saw the data quality that was sitting in there that we were going to drive out to the different to our AI application.
Awesome.
So
Thanks, Kurt. I was just going to say that we do have a couple of questions. I don't think we can do all, but let's do a couple just like we did for the previous one. So the first one is configuration for the external editor out of the box functionality, like is it configurable or is it developed as a separate component?
That's great. It is the solution is completely configurable. We really focus on the business model of customers and their unique needs. So and their business requirements. We do have a series of pre-configured workflows as well, and we use a templated approach so that what we're able to do then within that templated approach is lower the time to value.
Awesome. Yes. Thanks, Kurt. The second question is, are there any specific master data domains that we support?
And that's a really good question. Precisely's MDM has evolved over the years with its customers' needs. We've moved from a product-focused domain to add additional domains of data, such as vendor, customer, location. And today, the multi-domain application supports virtually any domain of data. So as you're looking for specifics on that, we can build out to any of those domains of data.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much, Kurt. That was a great demo. Let us move forward. And for that, I am going to call in JD again to close the loop for us and bring this home. JD, take it away.
Thank you. Precisely empowers our organizations with the comprehensive data controls through a number of the components that we saw today through these demos. So business first governance, focusing on the data that drives decisions and delivers value, data discovery and assessment, enabling data democratization through self-service access to knowledge, data quality and remediation, the mechanisms to implement what good looks like to maintain trust within the data. And lastly, master data management, helping organizations master complex hierarchies and data structures of their operational data. Solving the challenges is more than software. As I mentioned at the beginning, trust and integrity in data require more than just technology. To achieve true data integrity, we need to focus on the people in the process that support it. All three of these working in harmony is the first step in having a comprehensive data strategy. Despite 67% of business leaders lacking trust in their data, only 46% of organizations have a formal data strategy. If you're among the 54% without a strategy, or if your existing strategy isn't quite yielding the right results, you're not alone. Precisely, strategic consulting provides a lot of expertise within this space, and I'm going to go ahead here in just a moment. Through the multiple disciplines in which the Precisely's data strategy consulting group works within, we've developed a number of key areas that from today's discussion. Data strategy and helping organizations define and implement a data strategy aligned with business goals, data optimization, streamlining data processes, such as those for new product introductions or enabling data marketplaces. The AI readiness, establishing the guardrails for AI models when they're preparing for deployment or need safeguards for post-launch. And then team alignment, structuring the data teams in a way that fits the organization's size and operational style. In response to market needs, Precisely has developed a number of packages and offerings to accelerate the journey. Of these, we have a Data Excellence Bootcamp, is a rapid program for data leaders and teams to align data to value. The data product evaluation, this is a deep dive into your data product's effectiveness and readiness, and putting in safeguards or guardrails around them so that they are usable for the organization. And then lastly, the AI readiness assessment in helping organizations prepare for AI adoption with the right data foundations.
Awesome, JD. Thanks for that. We do have a few questions based on this. So let's just go from the first one. Can you evaluate existing AI models?
Yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned, is that if you already have AI models and the cat's gotten out of the bag and we need to put some controls around them, we're able to come in, provide some guidance in what is the best practice in order to put in those controls, those processes around them to ensure that they are efficient, effective, and accurate.
Absolutely. Right. Second question is, we are just starting to evaluate our AI processes. When is the right time to bring your team in to help us?
It's a great question. Much like if you're doing any home construction, sooner than better of having an expert come in and guide you through that process. So there's no time is really too early for us to start to have the conversation and ensure that you're on the right track.
Yes, and one just came in right now, so let's do that. What other offerings do you have other than AI projects?
Yeah, so the quick value offerings that I listed through are just a sample of some of the packaged offerings that Precisely offers to our customers. We have the critical data report package where we go in and we perform an audit within there. We also have the data products where either you're looking to establish data products for your data marketplace, or is that you already have them, but they're not being used. And we can go through and make it an identification of what aspects need to be improved in order to promote adoption and usability within the organization. In addition to, there's the Data Excellence Bootcamp that we have, and across the board, we also have some analytical data set or operational data set validations and checks that we perform. Those are kind of packaged offerings that we have, in addition to through our normal operating of customer engagements and long-term strategic planning.
Right. All right. Thank you. Thank you, JD, for that. That was great. Thank you, everyone, for the great questions. Before wrapping up, if there is a last thought that I want to leave you with, it is this. Precisely is your trusted partner for data integrity. With decades of deep domain expertise that goes across software, data, and data strategy services, we empower you to solve today's challenges while building out tomorrow's vision. That is always top of mind. We are deeply invested in the success of our customers. And before we say goodbye, just some quick reminders. Please keep an eye out on your inbox. We do have a few questions that we could not get to, so we will follow up via email. The recording and slides will also be in your inbox soon after. And lastly, again, please do check out the Resource Center. There are a bunch of assets in there that we believe will help you learn more about this and go very well with everything that you saw today. And yeah, that is the end of it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being a great audience, and we hope you have a great rest of the day. Thank you.